All right, this is what it looks like after we get the paper off. I'm taking the rubber band at the bottom off. All right, so you have a bunch of different flowers in here, and they all have different things about them. If you happen to get a lily, these lilies are great because they keep opening. These flowers will open later on. You want to take these off. I'm forgetting what they're called, but you want to take them off because they'll shed pollen, and then that way you can keep your, tablecloth clean. Also, if one fades, you can just kind of rip it off too. Other things we have in here to note, these are Lisianthus. They're really great. They have a long vase life. They're kind of like the equivalent to roses that we grow in our climate because roses are hard to grow here. So Lisianthus is beautiful. It has a long vase life if you keep taking care of the water. And some of the other buds on this may also open later on. So this flower may open later. So when you get them home, instead of just sticking them in a vase and not doing anything with them, not cutting them down, we wanted to show you how you can make it look a little bit better, a little bit more professional. So I got a vase here. It's a little bit wider than maybe a mason jar, which is a good size for our flower bouquets. And I'm gonna make a little arrangement, and something I'm gonna think about is I wanna make my arrangement at least twice the height of the vase that I'm using. And that's just like a good scale to always keep in mind as you're arranging flowers. So I have a nice pair of snips somewhere in here. I lost them. I'm gonna cut things down a little bit. So I like to use my table as like a guide of how high where I wanna cut it. So I do that. And then anything you put in directly into water, you always want to take that foliage off. So anything that's going into the water, I'm actually just going to take my fingers and strip it like that. So that's one piece. I like to start with my foliage first, and you can kind of go faster by doing a couple at the same time. And what's nice is you can, if you make a little crisscross shape with your stems, like that, crisscross shape with your stems, then the stems will help hold each other up in the vase, so that not everything is just leaning out. Eventually you'll make it so that things can stand up straight. So, and then I'll start playing with some other things that I have. Nice texture things like this. Like these sea oats, I like to keep higher than everybody else so that they're nice and beautiful to look at, and they're kind of graceful and they dance with the wind, so I keep those higher. Next I'll start moving on to some bigger things. So we got these lilies, throw those in there. Spiky things are also nice to have high, like this amaranth. So remember to just keep stripping those stems and make sure that those stems are also getting in the water. I've taught a few classes and people don't always make sure that they're going all the way down. I'm making sure I'm hitting the bottom of the vase when I put them in. That way, they're gonna soak up a lot of water and you don't want them to get thirsty and die on you. And sometimes there's multiple stems that you can use on something like this. So this marigold, it has this other piece coming up and we can use that as foliage. So I'm gonna rip that off, strip this stem, put that flower in there, and then I'm gonna go ahead and use this. Strip that, stick it in there like that. So I'm going to keep going. Other things to think about when you're making these arrangements at home is keep your water clean. Start with a clean vase to begin with. That's a good idea. Start with a clean vase, put very clean water in it, and then every couple of days or so, just take the flowers out and rinse out the water. Just give it a little pour out the water and put new water in. You don't have to like go cleaning the vase or anything like that. Again, something nice and delicate like this. Keep it kind of higher than everybody else so it's fun and can kind of dance up there. And then also another thing to think about is that some flowers are going to fade faster than other flowers, meaning some flowers will just die faster than other flowers. Things like zinnias, they just don't have a great vase life, but they're so nice to use and they're super cute. So when this does start to look bad and when it does start to brown, just take it out, but you don't have to go throwing away every single flower. Some of these are going to last a good amount of time for you. So you can play with it. And then once you get down to just a few stems, maybe you move it all over into a bud vase. A bud vase is like a vase that only has a couple stems in it. Lisianthus, we like to pick them nice and closed and small, but they will open more on you. So we harvest them small and closed like that, so that they have a long vase life. That's always our goal, is to try and make things last as long as possible. All right, how are we looking so far? Cute, right? Let's see, we just have a few more stems. So this is perfect, the perfect size. Here's a kind of tall thing you can put in to add some interest. Ooh, look, 2 stems on that guy. Nice. So I'm gonna cut them down, turn it into 2. 1. And this guy. Rudbeckia. We love Rudbeckia, especially the Sahara Rudbeckia. All right. And my last stem. Here we go. Also, for interest, it's nice to, I don't want to have 2 things that are the same at the same height. So I'm going to make sure that this guy is like a little bit lower, just for interest, just to stagger the height of things. Strip my stems. And yes, I've made a little mess, but that's okay, we can clean that up. You can use kitchen shears to cut it. I have found that they're really hard to use. It's so, you know, like you can go to a dollar store and actually get a decent pair of little snips, garden snips, but you don't have to get, these are like really nice ones that I got, but they're like $35. You don't need to do that. You could spend $5 and get a decent pair of snips and that'll be great. All right, so that's our arrangement. All right, I hope this was useful and I hope you get to take your flowers home and enjoy them a little bit more, a little bit longer, and know that you don't have to display them in the paper, and you also can cut the stems and it just, give them a little bit of a professional feel to them. Thank you.